Hi, I'm Heinbach, and it's good to have you back. If you like your synthesizers to have creature comforts such as MIDI, USB MIDI, a case, or even a keyboard, I think this synthesizer that I have lying here on the table is not for you. But if you've stared at blinking lights for so long that they became etched into the back of your eyes, I think you might be in for a good one. This is the Recursive Machine by the Human Comparator. The Human Comparator has been around for some time, especially in the DIY community. You might know him from the Surge 7375 or the TTSH ARP 2600 clone that he developed. And I have to say his designs have always fascinated me, especially once he goes more out there. And the Recursive Machine is such a project. So when he asked if I wanted to review the Recursive Machine, I said, of course, send it over. What we have here is an analog synthesizer based on the idea of feedback patching, meaning your signals run back into themselves and create all these wild oscillations that are especially good for drones, for example. But also, rhythmic patching is easily possible thanks to the LFOs. As you can hear, the tone of the Recursive Machine is rather direct and raw, and that's due especially to the delay and reverb section, as well as the built-in distortion. So let's have a look at the functions. Luckily, he sent it to me fully assembled, because this is available only as a DIY project. But that makes it quite affordable. All in all, you'll be paying about 260 euros and then have to build it. It has no proper case. It's basically two PCBs sandwiched together. So you can see the back is exposed and you get a handle and this plastic around it that protects the two sandwiched PCBs a bit. And on the top, all the knobs and jags are exposed. So when dust gets in, yeah, it's not easy to clean this. It is powered by a generic 5-volt power supply or battery powered. There are 4 AA batteries in here, and to replace them, yeah, you need to break this all apart, which isn't that hard. When I did that, I forgot to put the power light back in, so you're not seeing the power light. The Recursive Machine also has an internal, rather crappy, but still fun speaker. The best use of this is probably to annoy the people that live with you. There are 2 analog oscillators that can be triangle or square. You do get frequency control over the oscillators via these 2 ins, or you can use it to cross-modulate. These oscillators run into 2 VCAs, which are normal to the LFOs. The LFOs can have a square wave or a triangle shape. And you can adjust their shape. And luckily, they go to audio rate. Very lovely effects, but one thing I would like is if they would go slower. This is the slowest they will go. That isn't that slow at all. Especially if you want to make drones. But audio rate is a definite plus. I was plugging the oscillators and the VCA straight into the 4-channel mixer here. But of course there's also a filter on the synthesizer. And the filter will self-resonate. makes it nice to ping. And the resonance is so wild that you can do kind of automatic bass lines. Pinging is very nice in bandpass mode. Next in the chain is a distortion. Next, we've got the reverb. The reverb is an Acotronics break, and I really enjoy the sound of it. One of the most distinctive sounding parts of the Recursive Machine are the PT2399 delays. These are based on a karaoke chip, and the PT2399 has found its way in many pedals because it's cheaply available and you can do a lot of things with it. It becomes actually its own noise maker when feedbacked. Can be manipulated via control voltage. If you patch the control voltage correctly, you can use it as a sort of pitch shifter, for example, even with an electric guitar. So these are our basic building blocks. We've got our inputs for each of those here, and we've got the outputs here. Without making any patch connections, you can already create a lot of music with the Recursive Machine because of the way it's normalized. Meaning there are all these connections here that are preset, and you break them by inserting a plug. But from the get-go, you've got a very complex and musical patch setup. And you can see that in the diagram that is part of the manual. Now what we see here is that oscillator 1, the triangle, goes to the VCA1, which is controlled by LFO1 already. VCA1 then goes to the filter, and from the filter it goes to the delay, and to delay 2, into distortion, into reverb, into the mixer. Or it can go to the filter and then directly to the mixer. Or delay 2 can go back into delay 1 and then go into distortion. And it already becomes quite complex what is preset here. Same with oscillator 2. There it's the square that is patched out, so you get a different tone. And that runs into delay 2. And from delay 2, you can go, all these other directions. If this sounds a little complex, it is at first, because it's basically someone else's modular patch and you have to experience what it is. The second diagram helps with that, where you can see where everything goes into what. If you start breaking up that patch, the complexity intensifies. By using patch cables, you can insert other instruments into the signal flow, such as I'm doing with this TR-606 here. The recursive machine can easily become a part in a bigger modular system that way. But I kind of like its small form factor. This carrying handle, it's cool. I really like the idea, but yeah, this is nothing that is sturdy. And while I do like the sound and I do like the possibilities and I do like the genius and the knowledge behind this machine and of course the preset feedback patching, I have to say I would love a nice case for this. Something that protects this unit more than this 3D printed thing. And I mean, the first one that I got came broken already in shipping. I don't know if it's German Post or Berlin Post, especially that's very brutal. That said, one of the perks of having this open back is that you can circuit bend it with your flash. This is fun. One of the most important questions with any instrument is how will it fit into a composition? So I tried it out in context with other instruments. I really like how the recursive machine can become the inspiration on which I can build a whole track. And of course, there's one thing that's always a bit difficult when you've got a patch that does both the bass drum and the bass and all these other sounds. It gets hard to put in other instruments. So I tried unsuccessfully, I think, for 2 hours to get an acoustic bass in there. Didn't work out. All the frequency ranges were taken, so I left it at that, which is also good. The track apparently doesn't need it, but that's something you have to be aware of if you make a patch that is already like a full track in itself. You can buy the recursive machine on the Human Comparator website, but it won't be assembled. But there's a Mauser card where you can get all the parts that you need still to solder. And I've got no doubt there will be builders offering these for sale pre-built. If you're one of those builders, feel free to drop a link in the comments below. I think the recursive machine is a beautiful and smart design that for people that have stared at blinking lights for some time will hold a lot of inspiration. I wouldn't recommend it to someone just starting out, but if you're on an advanced level in your skills, this is an inspiring tool because yeah, you can break it apart and make it your own very easily, but it's also just fun to play as it is by sitting on the couch and using the internal speaker and making unspeakable noises. Thank you, Human Comparator, for sending me this. I will be putting up a sound pack of the Recursive Machine on my Patreon, as well as the last track I played. That's it for this video. If you have any questions, do leave in the comments below or visit the subreddit. Thank you all for watching, and I'll be seeing you in the next one. Bye.